Hello everyone, I'm David Coyer.
And I'm Serena Montagnani.
Welcome to this week's edition of Leatherneck Insider. The Summit League tweeted out a statement last week regarding the upcoming men's and women's conference basketball season.
Per the official Twitter account of Summit League Basketball, men and women's teams in the Summit League will play a 16-game conference schedule this upcoming 2021 season. Teams will travel to other schools throughout the season as usual, but there's one big change.
When a team travels to an opponent's school, they will play 2 games on back-to-back nights. This will be the only time during the season that those 2 teams will face off. Every Summit League team will also get a bye week during the season.
Last season, the women's basketball team proved to be a force to be reckoned with in Summit League play, ending the season tied for third with a 9-7 conference record. Despite losing top scorer Olivia Kaufman, the Leathernecks returned veteran playmakers junior Danny Nichols and senior Grace Gilmore to once more make a run to top the Summit.
The Western Illinois men's team fell upon another year of turmoil in last season's Summit League play. Ending with just a 2-14 conference record, the Leathernecks failed to make the conference tournament at the end of the season. At the conclusion of the season, Western Illinois decided not to renew head coach Billy Wright's contract, and during the offseason, WIU hired experienced Division I coach Rob Jeter, who brought along with him a new coaching staff and a brand new roster, with only 2 players returning from the 2019 Leatherneck season.
In WNBA and NBA news, time in the bubble for both associations has come to an end, but players are still speaking out about the racial injustice that has occurred across the country, and WIU students have voiced their opinions on professional athletes and racial injustice. News 3, Kennedy Williams has more.
While the Seattle Storm and Los Angeles Lakers take home the hardware, players and coaches in both associations assured fans that they will use their time in the bubble to bring awareness to social justice issues in America.
Everybody that can be involved is just going to accelerate the process.
We won't stop pressing for full transparency and full and complete justice.
Justice for Breonna Taylor.
Despite the overwhelming plea for change, there has been no action. So our focus today cannot be on basketball.
We will continue to use our platform to speak of these injustices that are still happening.
Western Illinois University students believe the fight for racial equality starts with WNBA and NBA players standing up to the system that many believe has oppressed minorities for so many years.
You got a lot of kids looking up to these basketball players, like other people that also want to follow in their footsteps. So it's really important for them to set a good example on the people looking up to them.
I think NBA players should be able to speak about racial injustice, especially if they're minorities and people of color, because I feel like it's an important topic. They should be able to speak their mind about it.
Just because of their high platform, they reach a large audience. Many people view them, look at them, whether it be for inspiration, for motivation, whatever you want to call it.
When people who look up to them see them speaking out and standing for something big, it's change, which we really do need right now. It also motivates other people to want to step up and, also be a leading voice as well, like them.
Even though they're big stars and stuff, they probably have experienced racial injustice throughout their lives. And since they have a bigger picture focus and news and media, I feel like they should be the first one to speak out about racial injustice.
And WIU students say they hope the example of professional athletes stepping up to the plate about important issues in America inspires the younger generation, in the words of the late Congressman John Lewis, get in good trouble. In Macomb, reporting for News 3, I'm Kennedy Williams.
Thank you, Kennedy. The Macomb High girls golf team had a very interesting season due to the COVID-19 pandemic. With all the new rules and guidelines due to the pandemic, it did not stop the Bombers golf team's success from a season ago.
It was changing by the day as the season got going. We were not able to even meet at all until after 4th of July. And we got a jump start on a lot of teams, I think. We got organized, we got out to the course in August before official practices could start. And we were able to do some practice, play a little bit.
The girls' golf team had a stellar season despite losing most of their team from a season ago. The Bombers were able to capture second in the regional and sectional.
The Macomb High cross-country team begins their postseason on Saturday. The boys and girls teams will compete at the regional meet in Liberty this Saturday. The top 5 teams and top 5 individual runners will qualify for sectionals in Elmwood on October 31st. As of now, the IHSA has no plans for a state meet. One bomber to keep an eye on is Stan Melkumian. The senior qualified for the state meet last year and owns 3 cross-country records. At Macomb Racing begins 10 a.m. Saturday morning.
Coming up on Leatherneck Insider, Marvin Ransom sits down with assistant men's basketball coach Nick Irvin. Stay tuned.
Taking me home, taking me home.
Here, I engineer the future.
Taking me home. Bring me back.
Here, I have countless opportunities.
Taking me home. Bring me back.
Here, I do research.
Right here at Western.
Welcome back to Leatherneck Insider. Marvin Ransom had a chance to sit down this week with Western Illinois assistant basketball coach Nick Irvin. Let's head to the Zoom call to see what Coach has to say.
Good morning today, Coach Irvin.
Good morning.
One of the questions I wanted to ask you is, why did you decide to continue your coaching at WIU?
Well, it was a thing that, me and my father always talked about. We always talked about DePaul, Illinois, Northwestern, number of state schools. And, we always got to Western Illinois, and we always used to, say, like, man, what if, I could go to Western Illinois and possibly win or still my coaching career, whatever. So, it's basically because of my father, to be honest with you.
And because look, not if you know it or not, we love you in Chicago. That's why it was such a surprise, like when you departed from Morgan Park to come to Western.
Yeah, a lot of people were surprised because they thought I, coach high school basketball for forever. But I had a plan that, my mom and my dad always talked about me coaching in college. So when this opportunity came about and Coach Jeter got the job, and been knowing Coach Jeter for a number of years. He's from Chicago. We both from there. We both came up a certain kind of way. So, the fit was right. The fit was perfect, and it was a no-brainer. I'm just, chasing my dreams my mom and dad want me to have.
Next question I have for you is, what do you miss the most about the Chicago basketball scene?
I miss a number of things. The camaraderie of the coaches, being around the students, the players, and, just interacting with them. And definitely miss my family, being around them and, just hanging out. The basketball scene was always tough and grimy, and it's always interesting, going into the next game. I'm going to miss that competitive nature that, I had with Simeon, Whitney Youngs, Curie's, and another number of schools. But that battle with Vince Sims, I'm really going to miss, because I think that was one of the best rivalries in sports. It's like the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees, North Carolina and Duke, and then you got us. I think it's right up there with them, and I'm gonna miss that.
How was the recruiting process from getting like Chicago kids like to Western?
Oh well, the recruiting piece was just talking to them and just selling Western Illinois and letting them see the vision that we have for it. And like I told them, Steph Curry went to a small school. Damian Lillard went to a small school. C.J. McCollum went to a small school. Ja Morant went to a small school. You just got to have vision and trust yourself and trust the process. I believe you could get seen anywhere you go. Don't matter where you go. It's all about,
enhancing your career. It's about making it to the next level. It's also about getting a degree. So, I mean, you can get that anywhere. So that's the vision I put to them. And, you know, kids from Chicago is a little different. They don't mind going to a place where is not very known. They like to take a chance and bet on themselves.
We all know that you're coming into a new year, like this is a new thing for you. How comfortable are you bringing in your former point guard that you've been with for 4 years, Marcus?
Oh, very comfortable. He a proven winner. He won 2 state championships. He been a winner all his life, and you know he bring that winning pedigree to Western Illinois, and that's what it's all about. You know, he led the EYBL in assists. He played against a number of pros. He played against all the top talent across the country. So, you know, him coming in and him coming to Western Illinois is a blessing for us.
How has the transition from high school to college level basketball been?
It been good. It actually been great. It been great because I'm working for a coach like Rob Jeter. I've been coaching for 20 plus years, been around. He teaching me a lot of stuff on and off the court, and he making my transition so easy. And, you know, he got a lot of basketball knowledge. He's a family guy. So just sitting under him and learning from him been a blessing for me.
What are some of the difficulties of coaching through COVID-19?
Well, it's very difficult because you gotta find a way to be creative. Like we've been working out. We only been working out with 4 guys in a group. We got 2 pods. We got a pod of 8, but we work with 4. You know, 4 people at a time, 4 players at a time. So it's been very difficult because you know a lot of other schools across the country is practicing, getting to know each other, and we still at a standstill. So, I mean, that's just the tough part about it. But we veterans at this. We'll find a way to get creative, and we'll find a way to win. And that's what it's all about. And especially when you got a group of guys that we have on our staff, and we veterans, like I said. So, and the players veterans been around each other for a little bit, so we'll figure it out.
How is it being a Leatherneck?
You know what? I've been talking to people around town, and the one thing they always say is it's only one Leatherneck, and I like to be a part of something like that. There's only one Leatherneck. You hear from JB, you hear from Brad Boehner, and you know they talk about the Leatherneck. It's only one. So, you know, it's been great. I'm happy to be a Leatherneck. I'm happy to be here.
What are you most excited for this upcoming season?
You know what? Man, I'm excited just to, you know, live out my mom and dad's dream of me being a college coach and, you know, sitting on the sideline, being a part of something good and be part of something great that's going to be man, it's going to be a blessing just sitting there. I might have a tear roll down my eye the first game we played because, you know, I've been waiting for this for so long. So, you know, I'm going to sit back, learn, and follow Coach Jeter, and hopefully he'll bring us to the promised land, which I know he will.
Thank you, Coach Irvin, for giving me the time out today to interview you.
Man, anytime. Just let me know, and man, thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Marvin. Coming up next, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers faced off for what could have been the last time, and the Tennessee Titans looked to stay perfect at home against the Texans. Serena and I will be recapping all of that and more from this weekend's NFL matchups. Welcome back to Leatherneck Insider. Sunday's NFL schedule featured close games, lopsided outcomes, and overtime grudge matches. Let's take a look at some of the games from Week 6. We begin with the Texans visiting the Titans. Ryan Tannehill scrambling to his right finds A.J. Brown for the 6-yard TD pass. Titans up 14 at the end of the first quarter. Moving on to Deshaun Watson, second quarter, floats it to Darren Fells to put Houston on the board. Fast forward to the second half. Deshaun Watson again. Titans up by 4, Pass to Randall Cobb for the touchdown gives the Texans the lead. Who else but the NFL leading rusher, though? Derrick Henry finds a burst of speed down the sideline all the way for a Tennessee touchdown. The Texans, however, would score 2 more times to set up this last-second play. Ryan Tannehill finds A.J. Brown once more, and the extra point would be good to tie the game at 36 apiece. And fast forward to late in overtime, Derrick Henry, Wildcat formation, runs to the left, powers in for the game-winning touchdown. The Tennessee Titans stay perfect this season with a 42-36 win. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, the Goat Bowl in Tampa Bay. Aaron Jones take this handoff right in for a touchdown to put the Packers up by 10. Aaron Rodgers, no interceptions on the season until this play, picked off by the Tampa Bay defense. Jamel Dean takes it 32 yards for the pick 6. Rodgers, another interception on the day, this time though to Mike Edwards, who almost takes it back for 6 again. Instead, brought down at the 2, the Buccaneers would score. Near the end of the first half, Brady to Gronk, we've seen that many times before, and Rodgers sacked here late in the fourth quarter for the Buccaneers dagger, and the Packers take their first loss of the season in disappointing fashion. We move on to Carolina. Bears, Panthers, Nick Foles across the middle to Cole Kmet for the rookie tight end's first career touchdown. And with time winding down in the first half, Cairo Santos nails a 55-yard field goal to put the Bears up 13-6 at halftime. Nice kick indeed, Serena. Third quarter, Nick Foles takes him himself from the 1-yard line for the touchdown. Carolina responds with a 1-yard TD of their own, but the Panthers would not complete the comeback. Teddy Bridgewater picked off with 1:28 remaining by DeAndre Houston Carson as the Bears take a 23-16 win. And on top of the NFC North, we take a look now here at the rest of the scores from this week. And those are some, like I said, lopsided scores, some close, some not, but interesting scores to say the least.
Very interesting indeed. How about the Steelers and Browns game? Let's talk about that one.
Steelers were heading in perfect to this week, and they faced off against divisional rival Cleveland Browns, who were 3-1. They were looking good, and instead the Steelers came out dominant, and they took the win to stay perfect and the lead in the AFC North. I got a big win in my fantasy football league this weekend, thanks in part to some great advice from our fantasy football guru, Carly Hall. This week, Carly has some new booms and busts to help you win in your NFL fantasy league this week.
Here are my fantasy football boom and bust picks for week 7. Boom pick number 1 is Saints running back Alvin Kamara. Kamara has been the top running back in fantasy football so far this season, racking up 7 touchdowns in just 5 games. Well rested after coming off a bye, Kamara should have another big performance against the Carolina Panthers defense that's allowing over 120 rushing yards a game. My other boom pick is Buffalo wide receiver Stephon Diggs. In his first season with the Bills, Diggs has hit at least 80 receiving yards or scored a touchdown in every game this season. He gets an easy matchup this week as Buffalo takes on the 0-6 New York Jets. For my bust this week, avoid San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel. After missing the first 3 games due to injury, Samuel has gone out of the gate slow, reaching double-digit fantasy points only once. San Fran has a date with New England this week, and Samuel is likely to have a tough individual matchup against cornerback Stephon Gilmore. My other bust is New York Giants tight end Evan Ingram. Ingram has posted 35 or fewer receiving yards in 4 consecutive contests. Philadelphia has given up the 4th most fantasy points to tight ends this season, but I don't trust Giants quarterback Daniel Jones to be able to get Ingram the ball consistently. My sleeper pick, Philadelphia Eagles running back Boston Scott. With Miles Sanders missing the game with a knee injury, Scott becomes the top back for Philadelphia, and he has a good track record against the Giants, putting up 267 combined yards and 4 touchdowns in 2 games against New York last season. These are my fantasy football boom and bust picks for Week 7.
Thanks, Carly. Moving on to baseball, this year's World Series pits 2 teams trying to make history. The Tampa Bay Rays are searching for their first World Series title in franchise history, while the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are in their 3rd World Series in 4 years, are trying to snap a 32-year championship drought. Both teams coming off tough 7-game series. You see Mookie Betts having fun in the dugout. He'd later have fun on the field, and what a towering home run by Cody Bellinger to put the Dodgers on the board in the 4th inning. But coming back off Clayton Kershaw, you got Kevin Kiermaier taking a solo blast 2-1 game. Max Muncy grounds to first, tries to get home, but Mookie Betts way too quick. That's a lot faster than I can run, and he scores. And later on, another towering shot by Mookie Betts. The bats were hot the other night for LA. 7-1 lead Dodgers. And Mookie Betts having the time of his life. That's a great smile by Mookie Betts. Don't you agree, Serena?
I do agree.
Game 2 takes place tonight, Wednesday night at 7:08.
The accomplishments of NBA star LeBron James and WNBA star Sue Bird are almost identical, but the difference between the 2 stars' paychecks is disturbing. Lelaney breaks it down next on Leatherneck Insider.
Everyone knows that every sports team has that one guy that gets everyone riled up and everyone ready to go for the big game. But what many people don't know, that as broadcasters, we need that same thing. Brendan Reedy is that one guy that not only gets everyone just jazzed up, but he also has a personal connection with every single member on the crew.
RJ, my dad, let's get after today. Big C, look at you. Boom. Thank you.
Every team needs that one guy that just glues everybody together. And for us, Brendan Reedy is the guy that makes sure every production is the best production.
All right, guys, 10 seconds.
All right, David. Calm, cool, collective, stay poised. Great intro, great show. Let's go.
I'm David Coyer, and this is Brendan Reedy, and this is Sports.
On this week's edition of Marvin's Sports Debate, Lelaney James fills in for Marvin with her hot takes of the week.
Despite Tom Brady having 6 Super Bowl rings, there are people who still believe the Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is better. But the head-to-head matchups tell a different story. Brady is 2-1 in his career against Rodgers, including Sunday's game 38-10 win over the Packers while Brady tossed 2 touchdown passes. Rodgers was picked off twice and didn't find the end zone for the first time this season. Rodgers is a future Hall of Famer, but he has not yet passed Brady as the best quarterback. Does Clayton Kershaw shy away from big games? With the Los Angeles Dodgers back in the World Series for the 3rd time in 4 years, they will need to ride Kershaw in the biggest moments, which hasn't gone well in the past. Kershaw is this generation's best pitcher, winning 175 games in the regular season. But playoffs Kershaw is not the same. The lefty sub is .500 in his postseason career, and in the World Series he is 1-2 on the mound with an ERA over 5. For the Dodgers to finally snap a 32-year championship drought, Kershaw will need to figure out how to deliver on the big stage. Do WNBA players deserve to get paid the same as NBA players? Take a look at this blind test between player A and player B. Both have played 17 years and both have 4 championships. Player A makes $215,000 while player B makes $37 million. Player A is Sue Bird, player B is LeBron James. I know the WNBA loses money, but the NBA is an $8 billion industry. I'm not saying WNBA players should make LeBron-type money, but these ladies play just as hard and deserve some sort of raise. I'm Lelaney James, and this is my rant.
Thanks, Lelaney. That's all the time we have here on Leatherneck Insider. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram and like us on Facebook so you don't miss any other episodes of Leatherneck Insider. Tune in next week for another episode. I'm David Coyer.
And I'm Serena Montagnani. Thanks for tuning in and have a great night.